Hey y'all, hey, it is Sunshine and I am back with another video. Definitely had to do a video about season 6 Love is Blind. Y'all are probably so sick and tired of hearing about this show and these people, but I just could not resist talking about what has been going on and these people coming on a reality TV show looking for love. I actually like Love is Blind. I do like Married at First Sight, and I like Cosmic Love that was on Amazon Prime. If we can combine all three of those, different aspects of all three of those reality shows, I think we will have a banger. I think we will have more successful couples, but of course, some of this is made for TV. Not that it was scripted, but of course, they're editing these things, and it is giving a dramatic effect. But definitely want to come and talk about a few of these couples. I couldn't get to everybody, but I think it's really important to dissect some of this so that we can kind of have better understanding because there's just been a lot going on online about a lot of these couples. So let's get into it. Chelsea and Jimmy. Ooh, this was a lot. This was hard to watch. I think a lot of us can relate to what AD said about Chelsea. I think there was a question like, was this representative of who you thought Chelsea was? And she said, I believe at the reunion, that she was shocked to see Chelsea the way that she was because the way that she was in the room with the girls was so different. And I think a lot of us can be like that. And it obviously depends on your ascendant, your rising sign, and any planets that is attached to that. And that is probably what the girls seen. Obviously, I don't have none of these people's birth time, so I can't talk about their rising sign, but I'm pretty positive that that's probably what they had seen. I would not be surprised if Chelsea was a Leo rising, but I don't like to try to guess that. But that's probably what AD seen. I 100% knew that Chelsea had water in her chart. There was no way. Specifically Cancer. And listen, I'm a Cancer, and so I'm not dogging Cancers or anything, but there are certain aspects, certain signs that it's just like, whoa, this is a lot. And Cancers can be emotional. Cancers can come off as very insecure or possessive or jealous. Leos definitely like a lot of attention. So I knew that there was some things that had to be there, and I knew Jimmy had to be very uncomfortable with that energy because it was just the match just it wasn't matching, y'all. Like it just what? I don't know. So let's get into it. Let's get into their chart. Okay, so I can't dissect everybody's charts a lot because this video will be super long and I don't want to make it that long. But I did want to look at them individually, um, and then I'll look at them together just so that you can see their energy. Um, Let me get my laser. Okay, so this is Chelsea's chart, and she's a Libra. But as you can see, she has the moon in Cancer. And then she also has her Venus in Scorpio, which is conjunct Pluto. So that is all consuming. They want all of your love. They need you to be 100% in. Scorpio, especially Scorpio or Venus with Pluto. Um, but she has this now. Her moon can be a little bit closer to the Mars in Cancer, and so that Mars in Cancer too can display some of that. What word would I like to use? Because I don't want to bash anybody. But it is what it is. Cancer, Mars and Cancers can really lay on the guilt. Can really like make it seem like you're the problem. Um, it's in this fall, so Mars is not strong here, and Mars can be passive here, kind of passive aggressive. But with her Mars and her Moon being this close, it makes it more intense. And emotions are very, very strong, and it comes off kind of the way that it did um, in the show. So I won't get into too much there, but that is there. And so that is important to recognize. Now I'm doing this. I hadn't taken notes. I'm just actually doing this off of the fly. But so she's air, water, water. It's pretty much it. Jimmy is a Scorpio as well. Um, and his Venus is actually in Sag with his Mars and Jupiter. Very, very active, outgoing type of personality. Moon is in Virgo, which could be opposite Saturn here, depending on what time he was born. So there is some Saturnian things going on in this chart for him. So he had some insecurities as well. I mean, everybody has insecurities, like everybody, pretty much, mostly. So I'm sure I can find that in anybody's chart. You notice that the moon is opposite Saturn here, and then you also have Saturn that is squaring the Venus here. Um, so again, that's very stable, that's very strong, but there are some concerns about, being lovable and just, feeling like, do I deserve love? Or, just having, some hard time and struggles in finding love, which his friends did allude to in the show. So you do see that. Now, she doesn't have, from what I can see now, depends on what her rising sign is, she doesn't have any strong Saturnian aspects here to her personal planets. Okay, so the energy is a little different. She has Plutonian energy, which is control, all or nothing kind of possessiveness, and he has the Saturn energy, which is a little bit more traditional, is grounded, um, very, very different type of energies there. So that is one thing to note when I'm looking at people's energetic pattern. Um, he does not have air in his chart. She does have an air um, sun. She does not have any earth or fire, and he has earth and fire. So the compliment the it was there. Okay, y'all, it was there. They complemented each other, but just long term wise, I'm not sure they would have understood each other. Um, their Mercuries were the same, so that helps as well. So, but let's get into their synastry chart. All right. So you see there is a Sun Venus conjunction here. Chelsea is the Venus person, and Jimmy is the Sun person. Usually with Venus and Sun, Venus is the one that finds a Sun very attractive. They are enamored with that person. But this does bring a friendship type of energy, so I can see them still being friends and really having genuine love for each other. I can see that there. Let's see, what else do I see? Um, I said, their energies just seem to be different. I mean, with this, with all of this fire energy and squaring Saturn, they had the Mercuries that were the same. You do have nodal contact here, the Sun with the node, so that is part of what I would consider to be helpful for a long-term partnership. But again, the energies just seem off to me. I mean, their Mars was very different. Mars is how you assert yourself, how you um, act in the world. Their Venuses are different. So I think while there is some initial attraction, just for the long haul, it just seemed to be, as we all seen, it just wasn't clicking. So just to give you an idea, that's what it is. Now, if any of these birth dates are wrong, somebody please give me the correct birth date or correct me, but that is what I found. So hopefully that is the correct information. All right, let's move on. Woo, baby. These three. Now, Sarah Ann is from my city. So, just, hey girl, hey. I this was a crazy type of triangle relationship. I mean, obviously they all have it on the show. You do date multiple people. Um, and so I can understand this whole dynamic. Um, as you will see, Laura and Jeramey just had different energies. I mean, Laura, maybe they just edited her the way they did, and she had every right to be angry and to be upset and to be, but she was a lot for Jeramey. She was a lot for Jeramey. Um, and she was very strong, but girl, like, whew, I hope that I hope that everybody learned from this show and really took this and worked on themselves and looked at that and say, hey, do I really want to be like this? Do I want to portray myself this way? Is this how I really look? Um, because it did give mean girl vibes. But I can't blame her for going off on him the way that she did. I'm totally with that. Totally with it. But just the emasculation or just it was cringy to watch. Now again, we don't see the everything, so I'm sure there was some stuff behind the scenes. I don't blame her. I'm not saying that she's wrong. Definitely, the whole situation was just jacked up. But I don't blame. I mean, Sarah Ann went after what she wanted. Now, how she did it was not okay at all. Um, but at the end of the day, Jeramey is the one that needed to handle that a lot better as well. So let's get into them. We're going to start off first with Jeramey and Laura. So Laura, I think her when they show like who the cast are, I think they all give like a little blurb or say a quote. And hers it says she wish she can not seek for perfection. Oh, I can't talk, y'all, or something like that. Classic Virgo type of you know response. And I'm sure she's probably a one on the Enneagram. But anyway, Virgo, strong Virgo. I mean, Sun pretty much conjuncts Mars. I mean, she is strong in who she is and how she projects herself, how she behaves. So somebody is definitely going to have to be able to handle that energy. She also has Moon um, in Virgo. So again, a lot of Virgo energy, very, very strong. Um, she has Saturn or Mercury square Saturn. So what she says, she's very matter of fact, and she's all about, listen, this is the facts. This is what, I have. Now there is some Jupiter in there, a strong Jupiter. So that might help to tone it down, which is where her playfulness probably did come from, her banter. But her banter probably did kind of cut a little bit. It was serious banter. Um, so yeah, that somebody needs to really be able to handle that. Now, she says she's in a relationship now, so hopefully that is going great. And it's just all about matching energy. Okay, so let's go over to Jeramey. He is a Scorpio. He also has Sun conjunct Mars and Pluto, which is a little bit it's closer, so it's a lot stronger. But his is in Scorpio. So his is going to sit beneath the surface first. It's not going to like be this immediate reactive kind of personality. His is going to seethe. Now, somebody with this type of energy, and I know we've seen things online. I'm not. This is allegedly what's happened, but with somebody with this combination, Sun conjunct um, Mars and Pluto, I would definitely tell them they need to do some type of activity or exercise to release that energy, because that can be a lot of pent up energy, and when it does come out, because that person may hold a lot in, they need to release it in a healthy way, because if not, it's going to come out in a very, very unhealthy way. So these are two very strong people, and he was sitting there, and typical Scorpio, he got his revenge. And not that he meant to do it that way, I'm not sure, but he took all of that, all of what she said, what she was saying to him, and he was like, okay, and ended up doing what he did at the little party. And yeah, that is a Scorpio. They will get your ass back. Okay. Um, and he's one that he's not going to open up very easily. So if he's trying, he may not be as forthcoming or as open as someone else. I mean, Laura has her Mercury in uh, Libra, and it's square Jupiter and Saturn. So she's going to speak up a little bit easier than he would. Now, he does have his Mercury in Sag. So, they can be very blunt, which eventually he spoke up and said what he needed to say, right? It's square Jupiter widely, but it's there. And so it's not saying that he won't say it, but this Scorpio, in order to probably tame himself, he probably thinks about it first, or just let it kind of marinate first. Um, they did have the Venus in common. Both of their Venuses are in Libra. Um, but his Venus is square Uranus. Um, so yeah, that energy is a little bit different. He needs a little bit more freedom, possibly a little bit more space. Um, he needs to have some independence. And with that Virgo energy, it's going to be a little bit harder. You also have Mars, square this Mercury. That is going to create a lot of arguments. A lot of arguments. So that will be a struggle as well. Um, Now, with her moon, us not knowing her moon sign, this moon could maybe get to Libra. I'm not sure. I highly doubt it. I With the way her emotions came out, I think that is closer to Mars. So I'm pretty sure that's how she. I'm sure she's a Virgo moon. Let's see what else they have here. So let's see. His moon is in Taurus. I can't see anything else here right now. It is possibly square this Saturn here, possibly, depending on if it's earlier. If it gets a little bit later, afternoon, that he was born, it would kind of pull away from Saturn. So we won't know that, but that's a possibility. So he may have the Saturn energy as well on top of the Venus and Uranus. And what would be interesting about that is those are two different energies, and so he may be attracted to two different types of people, which we already see with the Venus in Libra and the Moon in Taurus. But they're both ruled by Venus, so it's not too far off. I think if he um, I'll say that these are still very different energies. With the Venus and Uranus and the Moon and Saturn. One is very the stable, traditional, and the one is the freedom loving, all of that. So again, I would need to know his birth time to dissect that a little bit more, but that's those two. Let's go to their charts to see if there's anything different. Um, I don't think I will add much here. I mean, you did have this Jupiter, his Jupiter on her sun, um, which is nice. That is very nice to have. Um, you had a sun possibly sextiling the moon. Just not a whole lot. It's just not a whole lot. I don't see. You do have his Venus squaring her nodes, which again I want to see nodal contacts or Saturn contacts in the chart. And you also have Saturn squaring the Venus there. So you do have that there for stability and longevity. But they got different energies, y'all. That just, I think they connected over, this Sun, Jupiter there, and this Venus connection. But when you talking about everyday life, it's just, yeah, we need to have a lot more than that. All right, Sarah Ann and Jeramey. I'm gonna try to get through this very quickly. She is also a Scorpio. They're born very close to each other. So they understand each other just off of that. Um, she has this stellium in Scorpio as well. So again, that's understanding um, for those two. They get it. She does have Saturn square the Sun, um, and she also has the Sun conjunct Pluto. So again, some similarities there as well. She does not, from this, have any Uranian energy. Now that could be, if depending on her rising sign, we could see that there. Um, Her moon is in Sag, which is conjunct his Mercury. So there is some understanding. That's probably how they were able to really come to understand each other and um, to really talk through their issues or their feelings about the whole situation. Um, to me, this is still kind of different. Um, I think they live together now. Let's go to their other chart. So they live together now. This Sun and Mars, it makes for an attraction. Definitely a sexual attraction. It is intense. And it is strong, but it also creates this dynamic of a lot of fights and a lot of arguments. And I'm not surprised that they broke up often. That's not shocking, but it's a pull that is kind of difficult to let go of, especially if because the sex probably is great. So that's a challenge. You do have possibly the Venus sextile, the moon here. You have his Saturn squaring, um, her Venus and Mercury. Um, I don't really like Saturn squaring Mercury there, but because the Saturn person could always be correcting or, you know, telling the person what to do or what's wrong or, trying to change their thinking or whatever. Um, so that can be a challenge as well. And like I said, their energies, it's not as bad as him and Laura. I think there is a little bit more understanding and similarity here, but I just I would want to make sure that this energy, this Mars, Sun, Pluto, on her Sun, Pluto, um, that energy is they figure out how to redirect that energy, because if not, there could be a lot of blow ups. They're both trying to gain or get power, so there could be a lot of power struggles in this dynamic if they're not careful. You do have the moon, possibly his moon opposite. This may make it a little bit easier, that Saturn square her sun or her Venus and Mercury. With this moon being opposite, that could help it a lot. This moon is very strong. It's exalted, so that may be why he may be a little bit. It may not be as bad. It may not be as bad. It could be a little bit more loving there. But yeah, we'll see what happens with those two. Okay, so before I get to Amy and Johnny, for marriage or long term, and I've done a video on this before, um, aspects you want to see sun moon connections, you want to see nodal connections, Saturn connections, moon Venus connections or similarities are great. Um, those are big ones that I look at, like what are the similar patterns there, and even just in the individual chart, because if your moon and your Venus are different, when you're looking for love or hoping for love, you may be you may focus more on one than the other. Um, and so you may feel like you're missing something, and then when you focus on the other, you're missing the other piece. So that is something to definitely be aware of um, as you're dating or in your relationships, and just similar energies in the chart as you've heard me kind of go through. If you have Uranian energy and your partner has Saturnian energy, that is going to, I'm not saying it can't work. I think anybody can make anything work as long as you're aware of it and you make a conscious effort. Um, but at the end of the day, you are who you are. And if you want that traditional, that stable relationship, and you have a Uranian partner who wants more freedom, wants more space, who wants more independence, and they're not big on togetherness or quality time, you all will have to have a lot of conversation to be able to kind of meet in the middle to make the relationship work. Again, I think any relationship can work. It's just some may be tougher than others. All right. Amy and Johnny, they made it to the altar and they actually got married. I was pretty okay with them from jump. I mean, I figured they would make it out of all the couples. I figured, they were going to be ones to actually get married. So, it wasn't a whole lot of drama. I mean, I don't even want to touch on the contraception and stuff. That's I don't understand that part, but seems like they worked it out. So, let's look at this here. Amy over here, she is a Leo. She has the Sun, Venus, and Mercury in Leo, and she has her moon in Sag. So she has a lot of fire energy. She's high energy, she's very energetic. Um, and so that is going to be important. Now, depending on where her moon is, if it's a little later, it's also square Saturn. So that gives her a little bit more of stability um, there, but there again, there will be some other things going on, I would, want to talk to her about her mother and that relationship. I can't remember if her mother was a part of the this season or not. Because I didn't watch like the fitting of the dresses and all of that episode. But it just depends on, you know, um that whether she was born later or not. Okay, so we go to Johnny's chart. Johnny also has some Sagittarius energy, which makes it great. Um, so that's nice. He also has the Sun square Saturn, so there's some Saturnian energy. So they may have that in common. He has the Moon in Leo, which is very nice because it will connect with her Leo planets. Um, he does have this Venus Neptune energy in Capricorn. So that is very different from Amy. So Amy has, she's fire, fire, and then she has air. So there's not earth energy there, and there is no water unless her rising sign is water. And Johnny has Sag in Capricorn or earth. So he has fire, earth, and so he has no air nor water. So I really hope, I mean, maybe they don't need water, So she has the air component and he has the earth component. Um, so they could balance each other with that, but a little bit of a concern that I would have is just their Mars do square each other. His Mars is in Capricorn, hers is in Libra. So they are different when it comes to how they want to act or to move. So if there is, time to make a decision and they want to carry out something, um, they may be at cross purposes. Now, the nice thing is these are both cardinal energies. So, there will be some, they'll both initiate something, but how they go about it may be a little bit different. Um, So he may be the stronger one in that aspect because his Mars is exalted. But you see here that possibly there is a Sun Moon conjunction going this way and a Sun Moon conjunction going that way. Double whammy. Y'all, this was good. This was nice. Moon Venus possibly. Nice. That's nice. Um the Saturn also on her moon. So you have the longevity there. So that that's there. Although it can be a little bit of a challenge. But it's not surprising if she already has that in her chart as well. And then you have the nodes here. You have his nodes in Libra, Aries, which oh wait, I was going to say that that squares his. Maybe just depending on where his moon is, if it's a little bit earlier, maybe it's squaring her nodes so that there's nodal contact. So I won't know that, um, but yeah, you do have the Saturn contacts there. But this Sun Moon going both ways, that right there would hands down be like absolutely. Both of their Mercuries are in fire signs, so that's compatibility. The difference is again their Mars are in different signs, and then their Venuses are in different signs. But I think there's enough there that it's fine. And you have this Jupiter trine Mercury. I love that connection because you all have so much to talk about. It's lovely, 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 lovely to have. So this was pretty good. This was a pretty good match. I think they did good choosing each other. Um, there seemed to be a lot of understanding, a lot of affection between them as we seen throughout the show, with Chelsea being, bothered that she wasn't like that. So, girl, go find you a guy that matches up like that in your chart. And, honey, you'll be good. You'll be good. All right, y'all. Let's finally get to Clay in AD. Woo, honey. I've seen so many posts about this couple. I, who's to blame? Probably both of them. Both of them had some things to work through, um, and a lot of things that came to light um, in this. So, whew, let's talk about it. Okay, how did I not include their charts? Like what? Okay, I'm gonna have to come back because I must have got beside myself. I thought I added their charts. So I'm going to get back to them. I'm going to add to this at the end. Um, but I wanted to say, Rumi, this quote, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all of the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And that's, I think, a perfect quote for these two because how have you both been getting in your own way? I'm not really sure what Clay's motive for coming on the show was. Like, how did you not know you weren't ready to be married? I have no idea how you would come on a show and not get married or be ready to get married at the end. It makes no sense to me. And not sure why or how AD um, missed everything that he was saying. But like I think she's alluded to, there's a lot of stuff that we don't see in there, and so the editing may have just made it very pronounced to us, and it may not have been like that in real time. So we just kind of gotta wait and see. So I'm going to put up their charts and go over that, and we will end this video. Hey y'all, I'm back. Okay, AD and Clay. Um, so let's see. AD is a Scorpio. And her Venus and Sun is conjunct, which shows that the beauty and um the appearance is important, or she that's what the Venus and Sun will do. It's kind of how she portrayed herself or how she personified herself. That's exactly what Sun and Venus conjunct does. Now, whether people think you're really beautiful or that's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Um, and I know a lot of people have been online like, oh, she's this, she's that. And I'm not here to say what she is. I'm just saying what's in the chart. And just, kind of valuing your body or your beauty is the thing that Venus, our Sun and Venus will do. These people think they are the god and goddesses. And kudos to them. You should think you are everything and you're the catch and you're the trophy. Absolutely. Go ahead and flaunt your stuff. So that's what this is. Now, it is also conjunct Pluto. So she definitely kind of has that same either you're all in or you're not. And she alluded to that at the reunion, like you had your chance. Like she wanted you all in. But Pluto or Scorpio and Pluto, there's that control factor there, right? They want to be in control. So you have that energy. Her moon and Mars are conjunct. We have a lot of this season. You have the Virgos and the Scorpios and just the Moon Mars energy. Like what in the world? Okay. So you have this Moon Mars. I spoke about that before. And um now it will be interesting. Obviously her moon can be a little bit further away, but I think it's still conjuncted. Um It's in Gemini, so I believe her words. She would use it like her words would be her emotional outburst. Yeah, she's going to use her words to cut you, or to express her feelings or her anger. Um, and we seen that. We seen that. So again, her Venus and her moon are different. They have different energy. They have different energy. So she does have this square Jupiter. So it lightens it up a little bit. She's a little bit more fun and outgoing, which we've seen. Like she's probably a little bit more adventurous and just want to have fun. And she just seemed she had a great personality, right? So we've seen that. Um, all right, let's go to Clay, Virgo. Now listen, y'all, just how I picked up on Chelsea. I knew he had to be a Mercury or mercurial person because the blinking and just the constant like just needing to do something or the movement. I'm like, yeah, this he gotta be Virgo, Mercury on the ascendant, Gemini, something. And as we can see, you have the sun in Virgo. And so Virgos get in their head. They get in their head. They're always thinking and they want things to be right and to be perfect. So it really was not odd that he had this stuff going on mentally. I think he was really playing it out. Now, how he never thought about this before this show, I don't know, but um, I think he was really going through these emotions. You also have Mars that's in Gemini, hence why AD probably was attracted to him. But you have that there, so that added to that energy, just that kind of um Gemini can be they're flighty, like they're just they don't really have that stability there. Um you do have this moon possibly conjunct Uranus, which is it's different energy. Now with AD's Venus square Jupiter and the moon conjunct Uranus. Now there it's not like both of their Venuses are, well, I guess it is. His Venus is squaring Uranus possibly there. Not possibly, but it is. So Jupiter and Uranus have somewhat, kind of similar energy. They want to be independent. They want to have their space. They want to be able to do their own thing. So you do have that there, but his moon is there, which means his emotions and his stability is just, it's not solid. It's not grounded. And with the Mercury in there, it makes it even more flighty. And then you have Neptune involved. Yeah, it's just a lot going on with him. I'm glad that he's in therapy. I'm not sure AD. She has some things I think about her that there was some attraction, especially, on her end. Let me get to their chart. Um, just with the Mars being the same, um, that's nice. I mean, she's attracted to that Mercury energy. Um, but then you have this Plutonian or Scorpionic energy that Clay does not have. Um, he does not have it. Now with his Saturn does square her sun in Venus, and I don't like to typically see Saturn squaring that from a man to a woman, because there can be like a unrequited love there, and that's just what it seemed to be. Yeah, I, who knows if they'll get back together? I don't really, I can't really see it. But who knows? We'll see what the future holds. But yeah, this just seems like different energy to me. So that's AD and Clay. Woo! Y'all, as I said earlier, if I could combine three TV shows or three reality shows for love, I would. I think people, to look at the chart is great. It's good information to have. You're not, unfortunately, going to be able to have that sun moon conjunction um, with everybody. But I feel like if we're going on these shows, then we have more opportunity for that. So I think that will be a great opportunity to be able to match. So if we can match up people according to the astrology chart, um, you can have people talk behind the pods, and have a select group of people in like the cosmic love. They were matched with certain groups of people, and and they had to choose from those versus choosing from 15 or 10 other people. So maybe narrow it down a little bit. And then also, what I loved about Married at First Sight is that you have counselors there to help navigate and help you through a lot of these issues that you don't see with Love is Blind. And not, there wasn't, well, Cosmic Love, you kind of did. So I like that as well. So if we could like combine those, like, I'm gonna have to come up with something because I love it. It's interesting, it's entertaining. But these are real people's lives. And I think a lot of people do come on there looking for real love. Some people don't. But this is my little blurb on Love is Blind. I'll probably come back. I would love to do the Cosmic Love one. That came out, I think, in 2022, but I just seen that. And oh my goodness, I was excited to see that. And I hit the nail on the head with those two. So I'll probably come back with another video later. But until then, I hope you all have a great week. And I hope your week is filled with a lot of love and light and joy. Until next time.